peeps, how's everybody doing? I am Adriana and this is Color by Adri. Today I bring you my very first episode of Mastering of All Pastels in coloring books. I'm going to clarify that this is a technique that I have found useful for coloring books, and it's not an artist technique. If you're painting on canvas or doing your own artwork, this will be a different technique. So this is only for coloring books. And today, in my first episode, we're going to talk about Amazon paper. Can we color with softball pastels on Amazon paper? We will find out together because, like I had said before, this is a new technique for me that I have been developing and that I'm falling in love with, especially when it comes to portraits. So we'll find out together. One of the things that I really want to find out, and if I can color portraits in Amazon paper, because if you know me, I hate Amazon paper, but I love some of the books that come in Amazon paper with beautiful illustration, beautiful images that I really would like to color, but it frustrates me when I go to color with, let's say, alcohol markers, because I'm not very good at alcohol markers, or pencils because I can never find the right set of pencils for this type of paper. So without further ado, let's get into the coloring, which is what you came here to see, and let's color from this book. I picked, and let's go over this stuff that you will need. Not if you want to follow along with me with this one, because I'm not going to do a color along. It's more like this is how I do it in this situation. So you can find your own book. This time I picked up Anna Green Gables coloring book, which is, don't know who the artist is, illustrator Anastasia Shalik. And I picked this page. As you can see, it is a very thin Amazon paper, and maybe a bit thicker than most Amazon paper books, but it's still the quality is still not that good. So you'll need an Amazon printed book of whatever subject you want, preferably a portrait, since this is what we're going to be coloring. This beautiful, and I think this is already when she's married. If you know, you know, I love Anna Green Gables. The next thing you're going to need is some Q-tips if this is your preferred method. This is my preferred method. So I got some ones here, and I'll be using this one. And then I have this one, which is where I am storing the trash from where I use. So that one too, go ahead and keep them. Then, of course, the most important is soft oil pastels. It doesn't matter which type you have, any type that have some light skin colors. And I have this one, the Del Green. I have said it before, this is not available. I bought it off of Temu, but you can find many in Temu. They're very affordable. You do not need expensive soft oil pastels to work this technique. You don't need it. You don't need Light Fast. You don't need $300 set of oil pastels. With less than $10, you can get yourself a good set on Temu. I also have this one, which is my skin colors, and I got them used. I have mentioned this before, from Amazon. And then I also have this ones, which is a little, my soft oil pastels are a little harder, and I have found them useful for areas that are smaller. So, and then you need a brush to get things out of the debris. You need an electric eraser or an eraser, and then you will need a piece of paper where you could scrub things off. So let's start. I'm going to go ahead and lower so you can see better the area that I'm going to be coloring. And let's start with the skin. I always like to do that. We're gonna go over, we'll see. And let's start with the skin. I'm gonna go with this lighter. It doesn't have a name, but it's a lighter skin tone. It looks like it has a little more pink than yellow in it, so it looks more of a light white skin. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these out of my way so they don't hinder my arm to color. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go ahead. Okay, just remember this is all trial and error. We are going to try it and we're going to see how this paper handles sulfur pastels. That's what I want to do. And if we can come up with a good, beautiful blended skin, that is the main goal. So we will start going over. If you feel like you need to do smaller areas to control your coloring better, do so. I'm not gonna color the whole face right now. I'm gonna start doing the forehead, and I am saturating it as much as I can. Don't overdo it either. Just go not too lightly, but do put enough color in it. And then you come with the Q-tip or whatever tool you're using to blend. And remember, on coloring books, the object, it is not to have a thick layer this, because you're going to come back with pencils on top. If you have very thick of a layer, you're not going to be able to do that. So we're going to mix it to the point that it starts, the color, it starts sticking more to the Q-tip and leaving just a very thin layer of the soft oil pastels on your paper. So far I'm seeing that the tint of the pastels is staying very nicely on the paper. And you need to turn around your Q-tip or whatever you're using. The reason why I'm using Q-tips is exactly for that reason. I don't want to leave all the product in the paper. I want to smoother out and kind of just leave like the tint in a soft way on the skin. So we go about it this way. You go in circular motions and you go around it as much as you can to not leave residues or streaks. You just want it smoother out. And let's look at it closer, see how it's showing up. And you can see the color is in. It's leaving a very thin layer, even though I put it very thick. It's leaving a very soft layer of the pastels. And I think it picked up enough. We still got this part. And now let's go for another area. So let's go for this area and let's go. Remember, when you're going into these areas like this, you don't want to go over the eye. I don't know how the eraser is going to handle on this, because this is all trial and error. We all learning together. So we do it like this, and you don't want to apply it carelessly. So if you need to erase on this paper, I'm not quite sure how it's going to work. So let's just do the nose and this part of her face. Yes, like that. And now we come back with the same Q-tip, but let's do the other side. And let's start mixing it. This side looks like it's softer, so it's not going to help me too much. So we want the harder part. I'm going to come back with this one and it's kind of move it around in circular motions. Just move it around. You see, I am not pushing very hard, but I am touching it, was what I'm trying to say. I'm not doing it so light that I don't touch it. I'm touching it. And I don't want the this part, the wood part, to actually come out of here because then it will scratch my paper. So we're gonna be careful with that. And then come over here. This one looks like it's very saturated already, so we're gonna put it into here. I have another one here that hasn't been used completely, just this side, because I was working on something else. This is the softer part, so I'm not gonna use the softer part. I like the harder part. You can use the softer part for other things. So there, and we pick up as much as we can, making sure that the color stays in the paper. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and do the other side of the face. And we come here, and again we are trying not to go over the eye, because the eye is going to be hard to color if we have that in there. And the areas that I suggest you color with softball pastels will be face, skin. Sometimes you can do lips. I've done lips, but I don't suggest you do eyes with softball pastels because those are areas that are small and you won't be able to make it to get your color in without making a blob. We don't want blobs. So we continue in this area and let's just softly color in. Let's go on the other side. And yeah. So we, like I say, we're doing nice circular motions. And just always keeping an eye that your Q-tip or whatever is that you're using doesn't come too loose, because then you lose control of it. You don't want to lose control. Just like when you're coloring with pencils, you want to control the area that you're coloring. So that's what I'm trying to do here. And it looks like the ink is coming off of that. So this is a thing, I guess, with Amazon paper. So I'm gonna not use this anymore because, as you can see, that black is coming through and staining my, that's fixable. That's very fixable. So we're just gonna add some more in here. And then we're going to go over. Okay, so now let's do the neck. Again, this very thick black line, if I get too close and I start rubbing it, it's gonna cause the same effect that happened in the ear. So we don't want to do that. I'm super excited because I am sharing with you something that I really, really love. I have been coloring for over 10 years already. I'm coloring books. And this is the first time that I find that an additional technique other to color pencils works for me really good. I have always been a pencil girl. Like I mentioned before, I not very much a fan of alcohol markers. I do own alcohol markers, but I don't use them that much because I can't do blending. I'm gonna be honest. That's exactly what it is. I can't blend, and things don't blend together. They look like there's a stop and then there's a beginning. That's not what I want. Okay, so we have already put the very first layer of her skin. So now she looks completely plain. Okay, let's add something else. So we put it over here. And now let's start adding shadows. We're going to do a little more shadows in the ears. We're going to do more shadows over here by the neck. We are going to do some more shadows here in the eyelids. And then maybe the jawline. And over here in the forehead. So let's get on with this color. Again, I don't have a name for it, but it's more like a light brown. Let's compare it and let's do it here. So you guys know. So you're gonna find a light brown. So we started with this one and let's put it here. Of course, this is a yellow paper. It's gonna look different. So we started with that. And now we're gonna go with this kind of like a coffee and milk. That's what I call it. I wish I had names for you, but I don't. So that's how it looks. So we are going to go ahead and use this one and started putting it in this type of areas where the shadows will go. And this is just to give it another dimension, you know, to make the face don't look flat but start to rounding up, because faces aren't flat. So you can start seeing it already how she's looking, and then we can put some in here. And if you need to, you can come out with a knife or something and just take a little bit off to make it into an edge. That way you could work it easier. Okay. So let's do a little bit of here and let's do a little bit of here. And let's bring it up. Okay, so now we're giving her dimension and we are going to continue with the blending. So we take, I'm going to try to do the harder part. And again, we are just wanting to do soft. And it looks like this one is kind of disappearing. So we're going to come back because it is kind of disappearing when you're rubbing it against it. A little bit, not so much, but we will come back with a darker brown. So let's just do it soft. You do see a shading a little bit, which is good. This is what we want. If we want to have it darker, you can come in with a darker one. So you very soft, you come in here. And it's just giving that extra dimension that we want on the face so that it doesn't look flat. Again, and you go like this. And yes, soft, 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 soft. Soft, 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 soft. Let's go to the other side because this is getting too loose. And so over here, we come in here, and we are gonna, in here, I'm not going circle motion, I'm pushing it more toward the inside like that. Pushing it and pushing it to the inside so as to create the darker shadow. As much as you need to push it. Okay, so there. Now, if you think you need to go darker, let's pick up a darker color. And in this case, I have this. So we were at this and this. So let's go back in here. So we have this one, and we have this one, and now let's put this one. It's darker. So let's put this ones over here, and let's go here. So let's go into this area that's supposed to be darker, and this one that's supposed to be darker, and then come over here. And then just a little bit here, and just a little over there, and then just a bit here, and just a bit here. So now we have another layer. Again, let's do soft. We just wanted to make it look like a shadow, and that's exactly what it's looking like. And so far, I have to say, I am liking how soft oil pastels are behaving in Amazon paper. Liking it? There. Now, excuse all the noises that are coming, if they're coming through the video, and it's because I live in a busy street. Even though I'm in a 10th floor, I live in a busy street during the day. So we got that. We're gonna go ahead and get her cheeks. So I don't have in the skin set, I don't have anything rosy, and I like rosy cheeks. So we're gonna come back with this one. And I remember, if you see your pastels dirty like that, clean them up. Take that off. Clean them up. We don't want blue. In this case, this is what it has, blue. We don't want blue in her cheeks. So there. So now I'm going to come in, and I'm going to put a little bit of pink, and that might be too much, so we might need to blend it into, like, add another color. So we still got this step right here that we can do, and let's do it soft. And I'm hoping not monotonous, like boring you in my talk. Let's liven up. Okay, girl, let's do it. So soft. We're there. You can see already her cheeks are popping up and looking gorgeous. So yeah, soft touch. And if it's too much, don't you worry about it. That can be fixed. And there. Okay, so now we see that she has too much in here. We are going to blend it more. Let's put this one away, and let's get another one. And we don't want patchiness. That's not what we want. The reason why people like me want to use soft oil pastels on skin is because we like a smooth face, like a smooth, velvety looking skin. So I already think that she has too much pink. So let's add a little bit of this to blend it. And I see I added it around it. And I'm gonna come here with this side. As to not do, and this is the softer. So in the softer, this, the Q-tips have one hard part and one softer side. I don't know why. I don't know the anatomy of an ear to figure out why they are like this. But because I'm using it in a different way, I don't want the very soft part. I want the harder part. So I'm going to try to the side when it comes to that. So in that way, I can manage to color better. Oops. Okay. Great that this happened because there was a speck of brown in there, and as you can see now I made a scratch with that. Let's put a little bit of this to fix it, and let's blend it. There. All gone. No problem, no booby. Okay, so now she has nice and pinky, and I'm gonna stand this over here. I'm gonna try to stand it a little bit more, and still use this one. It's still good. I'm not gonna waste that. Let's add a little bit more, maybe a little higher. Okay, and let's add a little bit more over here to lower the a bit. I am really loving the results on this. And this one still looks patchy, so I'm going to add like a few dots to mix them up. Yeah, there. Okay, so let's do her lips. And I'm going to go with this pink. This is going to be tricky because these areas are so small. They're going to be very tricky. So I do have some of this pink in here. So I'm going to go ahead and continue using this. Remember, circular motions, like trying to stay within the lines and mix this up. Don't worry that it looks patchy. We're going to fix that with pencils. I just want to give it that undertone. Okay, so we got lips, we got skin. Let's try to do hair. And before we move on to the pencil, which I like to leave it for at least an hour to 2 hours for this to curate and dry, for me to be able to come with pencils on top. So I am gonna go ahead and do her hair. Also like this type of brown, because that way that'll give me the opportunity to come with a darker brown and give shadows, so as for her to have like highlights on her hair. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this color, and I'm going to just do light. And also, if you remember, it's the same one that I put over here to the edge. So if I go over, we can blend it a little bit, and it's not going to look like we messed up, but it's actually going to look like it's part of the shadows in her forehead. So remember to work in sections so as not to overwhelm yourself. So just like that. And softer circular motions, and this is giving it a very nice base. Then when you come with the pencils, it's not much that you need to do, really. This makes it so fast, and at the same time it covers the area. And I know a lot of people said I can do that with alcohol markers, and the truth is that you can. We want a more of a painterly look. That's my idea of coloring. We all have a different idea, and that's how I like to color. So if this is not for you because you feel that you could do this better with alcohol markers, that is perfectly fine. This is, like I said, just what I have liked the most in my coloring journey. I find that I can do so many things with this, that I can not just cover great areas, like big areas, but also do a beautiful job coloring without seeing all the white of the paper, on the tooth of the paper, which I actually do not like. Some people feel like that is fine, that they like it, that it gives it a texture. I don't like it. But this again, I had to make it clear. It's my point of view, my way of doing, which I am so excited and happy to come in and share with you. I'm not sure whether this new series of videos that I'm going to be doing is going to um, get a lot of people excited like I am, but I am very excited. I am very excited to share something that I find so helpful and so beautiful to my coloring journey that I cannot wait to share it with other people. That's the type of person I am. I get so excited. I want to tell the world about it. And that's why I'm making this video. I'm telling the world that I am in love with soft oil pastels. It's a very affordable way to color, and it's just amazing to me how I can do such beautiful things. So the other things that will be coming up in my series of mastering soft oil pastels and coloring books will be doing I am planning on working on a horse. How can we color a horse with softball pastels? Is that possible? Uh, can we do fantasy skin? How can we do that? What type of paper does softball pastel likes? And so on and so. So that is what I want to do. So I have here her. She has her hair. Let's do a little bit on this strand of paper. And this, just do it like this and this. So let's test the eraser part because I went over. So let's test this. And it looks like it's handling it well. So it is removing the color and not damaging the paper. You can, when you do this, you're going to feel the stickiness that is left from the pastels because of course this is waxy. And that is the reason why I say do not put waxy pencils on top because that's not going to work. Because wax on top of wax is not going to work. So that's the reason why I say do a harder pencil, not a soft pencil. And let's blend, let's continue the blending. All of this is going to be redefined with pencils. And should we just have enough time to do the dress? And let's do background while this is drying up. So I'm gonna do like a brownish, like a bluish sky type. So Amazon paper is taking this really well. And I'm really smudging this because I want to go ahead and blend this completely. I'm not coming too close to her. That can be done with pencils. So let's do one section. Let me know if you're still here watching and what are you thinking. If you are thinking of using this technique, what are your thoughts on where to use them, how to use them? And if you find this helpful, if you have any questions about what type of softball pastels to buy, just let me know. I can guide you. I, like I said earlier, I don't advise on you to buy very expensive because there's no really not a good strong reason of why ordering expenses of so for pastels for us. I'm not if you are an artist, and I'm not saying you're not an artist if you're doing coloring books, because you probably are, maybe even more than me. But if you are an artist that that paints into canvas and do original work, and you do commissions and you sell stuff, then yes, go ahead and buy expensive supplies, because your clients depend on the quality of your supplies. But we are colorists. We are not selling our stuff per se. I mean, I am not. I mean, a lot of people come and tell me to please sell the pieces that I make, which I don't think I should, because, and I'm not going to, because I cannot claim that I actually did anything more than color. So that is my only claim, is that I color the piece. I did not came out with the original idea of the illustration, so I'm not going to sell. I have framed some of my stuff, but I haven't sold them. I have just put them in my guest bedroom, hang in my guest bedroom. And okay, so this is looking good. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause and then come back when everything is done. Okay, so as you can see, I already sort of finished the background. I added all the blue. This skin and hair feels better, feels more dry. So we can start topping with pencils. I'm gonna use a harder pencil, so I'm gonna start using my polychromos, because that's the harder pencil that I have. And so we can start going the edges and just adding more depth to this beautiful already page. So I'm just gonna go like to the edges, like rounding it up in here. I'm gonna go ahead and put this. Wait, I'm gonna have to rearrange my area. Okay, so let's just do that. This is a very close pen, and I'm using from a Polychromos 180 raw amber. And remember, because we are going over a waxy medium, which is the soft pastels, we're gonna have some residues, so we need to continue getting rid of the residue. Okay, let's do this here. And I'm really liking working with soft oil pastels on Amazon paper, because I am one that doesn't like Amazon paper. I really, no matter how beautiful the illustrations are, I can never get through it. Never. So this is not just for you, it's also for me, because I really wanted to do something that will benefit other people, not just me. And but I'm also very glad it benefits me too, because I now finally get to touch some of my Amazon paper books that I really enjoy, looking at it, and then I wish I had the courage to color like other people do, but I just don't. Okay, let's do some of this folds in her eyelids. And here just a little bit so it could look, it doesn't look flat, like it can round it up. And also in these folds. And let's add a little bit of here just to define the chin. Okay, and now let's go for another one to soften that transition. And for that, I'm going to go with, let's say, this one. It is 131 medium flesh. And again, I'm hoping it works because this is the first time I tried in here. So I'm hoping that it does a good transition. I'm really hope you're enjoying this and that you find it helpful, and that so many people that are following my channel are wanting to know how I do this with soulful pastels. And that's the reason why I decided to go ahead and create a series of mastering soulful pastels in coloring books, because I know that when I do my live streams and I'm working with them, people are like, they want to do it, they want to do the same thing, and they get excited. So here it is. This one is a cinnamon, and it is 189, and we're gonna continue the transition. So here. And if you think you're leaving streaks, there's a way to fix it. Come back with your Q-tip and kind of rub it a little bit. Don't rub it too much, just a little bit. And then the streaks will go away. And here I am doing small strokes, and I'm not going really in a circular motion, just a small strokes and very lightly on top. Okay, very lightly on top. I'm not going to cover the whole face with pencils, just the transitions. Yeah, just transitions. And I'm going to come with a lighter one, because if you start seeing like it starts abruptly, the color, a lighter one will help. Will help with that. And I'm telling you, a harder pencil works a lot better than if you were to use, let's say, polychromos. Let's soften this up a little. Okay. Now let's go with the lightest of all, which is going to be 132, a beige red. Let's get rid of this debris. And now let's finish this transition better. You know, she should have like a little area here that divides this. Very soft. Very, very soft. Okay. Yeah, it was off. Here, something was there and I smudged it. That's why you need to clean things up. So let's do it. Yeah. Let's clean that. Whatever's in there is gonna make this dirty. Okay. All right, so I feel like her skin is looking good. And like, we can stop there. I mean, we could go on and on, but I really think that this, let's make this darker over here. I really think that's good enough. Let's go for hair. So for hair, we want darker colors to create the shadows around her hair like that, and maybe some illumination over here, like shining of her hair. So I'm gonna go with a nice brown, like maybe this one, and we'll see. The beauty of this is that if you don't like it, you can come back with a little bit of soft pastel, rub it, and it'll go away. 176 Bandic brown. So let's do this. And I had to thank my bestie, Sarah Griffin, for when we were, I brainstorm with her sometimes about what to do, you know, and she mentioned Amazon paper. And at first I didn't know what, because I have forgotten that she actually sent me this book. And because I love Anna Green Gables. I just adore her. And I was so excited to have the book. And I've been wanting to color in this book, but I was trying to figure out how because of the paper. And she knows that. And then she said, Amazon paper. Let's see how you can do on Amazon paper. And I was like, but which one? You know, I thought of Tatiana Bogema books, which I have a very nice volume from her. I think it's from 4 to 12. But those are not the type of things that I would do with softball pastels, even though I might try it, really will try it. Then I thought, hey, I do have a book, and it's the book that she sent me. It's this one. And I was like, yes, let's do it. Haha, yes, do. Please do. Let it come on. And so that's what I decided on doing. And here we are. This is on my first episode of mastering softball pastels in coloring books. So yeah, just go around it like that. Just don't worry about transitions, because that is probably going to get smooth over easily with a Q-tip. Yeah, like that. Just make it darker in these edges. Now let's come out with a little lighter. Actually, no, I want to bring in this color deeper in, like more, and then bring another dark color to the edge. I think that might look better, and then a lighter color. I think her hair will look better. So this is a berry. I'm saying if you are starting on coloring books for adults and you're on a budget and you can only get Amazon paper books, I'd say the most affordable medium would be to have, in my opinion, to have, if you have an Amazon book, to have a set of softball pastels from Temu, which not cost you more than $10, and then a set of harder pencils, which could be even Crayolas, they're hard, and that, and maybe a highlighter or a white gel pen, or just, you know, a few things like that, and you can do beauty in a very small budget. If I had to say, well, a book might cost you $10, a set of softball pastel might cost you another $10, that's $20, and then a couple of extra things, like let's say a set of Crayola pencils. How much is it right now? What, like $15 maybe? So that's $35, and then a couple of other things, like under $50 you can start this hobby, and really enjoy it and do beautiful work, and not be so stressed about the quality of your pens, the quality of the paper. You know, those things can can be really smooth out with this technique. If you are beginner colors. Now, if you're more advanced colors and you just want something that looks like a paint without spending hours on layering and shading, then this is also for you. I found so many good things about it. And I think that's the reason why I enjoy it so much. Sorry I had to do that. This turning is my only way of managing my pencil in sitting in this position since I am filming. Let's do it here. Okay, so let's do a darker pen for those other edges. Let's do like a really dark, rich brown. So let's see how this one, and okay, so this one is a burnt umber, and this one was, okay, so this was an umber. So this is the three so far that I have used: 180, 176, and 280. Before we do that, let's get rid of any. There. And let's go darker. That's me being too hard on the pencil. Okay, this one doesn't seem like it's showing too much of a difference, so I'm gonna bring it darker. Like this is, yeah, let's see. Let's try this gray, dark sepia. Oh, this is trial and error. Yeah, I think that might work. I don't really need to sharpen too much because I'm not going to go. There we go. That's what I want to do. Just darken. There we go. Just darken. Okay, I think that's enough. Let's do a little bit over here. I'm still in frame. Yes, I am. Sometimes I forget that I'm filming and I come out of frame. And oh, I don't want to be too monotonous for you, like bore you to death, because that is not my intention for you to fall asleep while I'm doing this. But sometimes I get so concentrated and so engrossed into what I'm doing that I forget I'm filming, and I forget to talk and to explain what I'm doing, because in my head, you already know because I'm doing it. And I know that's not the way to go about it. I forget that this is what I'm trying to show you, how to do it, just in case you don't know how to do it. But if you already know how to do it, well, great. Okay, so I feel like it's good. Let's ease out the transitions between, you see, pencil, soft pastel, and pencil. We're gonna ease out, and we're gonna use another color, and this is gonna give it probably more of a yellowish tint, but I think I like that. I don't know if I'm going to sharpen. If I need to sharpen, I'll go back. So let's do this. So I don't think I need to sharpen, because and this is it just brings that life to the hair, like it makes it alive. And again, I'm not trying to go for a realistic hair, like drawing every hair strand. I am not. I'm just trying to show like a nice and smooth way of coloring and not, I'm not a realistic colorist. I mean, for realistic colorists, go see Mireya. Oh, she is amazing. Yeah, for that, you need to go check her out. But for what I'm doing, it's not realistic. It's just my own way of coloring. Once we finish this, we're gonna leave it like that. And that would be enough paper cover to see if we can use soft oil pastels and Amazon paper. And I feel that we have been very successful. We haven't made that many mistakes, and it's been a great experience for me sharing this time with you. And I hope that you have learned something. I have not made you dumber, but smarter about how to go about coloring in Amazon printed paper. As you can see, we haven't ruined the other side since this is a double-sided book. So using alcohol markers on a book like this is probably not to the most advantageous for us, because if I want to come back and color this one, which is a beautiful image, then I won't be able to. So she is looking gorgeous. She's looking amazing. Let's finish her lips and her eyebrow. Well, her eyebrows. Let's not leave her that like that. Let's try to finish as much as we can of her face before we move on. There. And let's do her lips. And for her lips, I'm going to use this one. And I'm going to come here. I'm not going to touch her teeth. I'm not. Okay, and I'm going to come back with this one. Okay, and let's do her eyes. I think Anna Green Gables had green eyes, or at least that's my imagination. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of green in her eyes. I feel like there is a speck here that I don't want to see. There, I lift it up. I'm not going to do her dress right now, but this is how it is right now. I actually love how she came out. I am loving it. Hope you liked it. My very first episode of mastering soft oil pastels in coloring books, and the use of soft oil pastels in Amazon paper is incredible. She just looking lovely and gorgeous like an ass. Okay, so this is future editing Adriana here. I finished coloring the page with everything that I needed to do. I know that the video concentrated basically in hair and face and just a little bit of background. I didn't show too much because I'm going to go into more detail in future videos, but I wanted you to see how the page actually came out. And it looks, and the streaks that you can see here, that's actually not because of the all pastels, but because this is Amazon paper. I don't know if it's visible in the video, but it's because it's thin paper, so you can see the lines. I see it from this angle, the lines of the ink in the other side. So she's basically done. I guess I forgot to add a little bit more blue in here to retouch these little areas, but I could do it later. That's all I can do and say about coloring with soft pastels and Amazon paper. And I'm really surprised, and I really find that it works well, especially when it comes to books that are double-sided and they're this type of thin paper. I'm happy because not only this is a beautiful book, I love it, and it's about my favorite book, but also because I hardly ever touch my Amazon books, and now with this I know that I can do it. So with that, I leave you go all, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great rest of the week whenever you're watching this, and enjoy coloring just as much as I do. Have fun. Bye. Ciao.